Four black SUVs emerge from the desert heat of Sonora Valley, their tinted windows reflecting the merciless Arizona sun. The target, 11-year-old Sofia Martinez. The plan, a simple kidnapping to force her father to reveal cartel shipment routes. The mistake, not realizing that the German shepherd they've been monitoring through surveillance photos earned 3 combat tours in Kandahar, 63 confirmed enemy neutralizations, and was once called Ghost by the Marines' elite K9 unit. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. They thought they were dealing with a family pet. They were wrong. By sunset, 5 cartel soldiers will be in critical condition, a drug empire will begin to crumble, and the largest cross-border takedown in Arizona history will be set in motion. All because the Sinaloa cartel made one fatal error in judgment. They saw Ranger as just another retired service dog, but some warriors never retire. Some guardians never rest. And some threats come with 4 legs, battle-hardened instincts, and a promise to a fallen Marine that no harm would ever come to his little girl. The morning sun creeps across the quiet streets of Mesa Verde, Arizona, painting long shadows across the Martinez family's modest ranch house. Sofia Martinez stands at her bedroom window, watching Ranger complete his morning perimeter check. A ritual the German shepherd hasn't missed in 18 months. His muscular frame moves with calculated precision, each step measured, each pause deliberate. He's doing it again, isn't he? Rosa Martinez's voice carries warmth as she joins her granddaughter at the window. The silver-haired woman's eyes track Ranger's movement, understanding in her gaze. Since her son Miguel's death, the dog's routines have become a comfort. A piece of him still protecting them. Sofia nods, counting under her breath. 4 laps, always counterclockwise, checking the fence line twice. Her father had taught Ranger these patterns in Afghanistan, where missing details got people killed. Through the window, they watched the German shepherd navigate the property's perimeter. To neighbors, he might look like an unusually disciplined pet, but Sofia knows better. She's seen the scars beneath his fur, watched him snap awake at sounds that echo like IEDs, noticed how he positions himself between doors and his family without seeming to think about it. "Breakfast time, mi amor," Rosa announces, heading toward the kitchen. "You've got that science presentation today." In the kitchen, Ranger takes his position near the back door, his alert eyes scanning between windows, while Sofia eats her chorizo and eggs. 18 months of civilian life haven't dulled his training. If anything, they've sharpened his protective instincts. "Remember when he first arrived?" Sofia asks, pushing her empty plate away. "He wouldn't even sleep unless he could see both the front door and the hallway." Rosa begins clearing the dishes, her movements careful around the vigilant dog. "Those first few months were difficult for all of us. Losing your father, Ranger losing his handler. But you two helped each other heal. The memory surfaces unbidden. That scorching afternoon when 2 Marines stood at their door. The news about Miguel Martinez's final mission with the DEA's Border Task Force, the folded flag, and the letter explaining his last wish for his K9 partner to watch over his family. Ranger had arrived a week later, still favoring his right leg from the firefight that had claimed Miguel's life. A truck engine rumbles outside, pulling Sofia back to the present. Ranger's ears prick forward, his posture shifting subtly. Through the window, they spot an unfamiliar black pickup cruising past, the 4th this week. "Just workers for the new housing development," Rosa says, but her tone carries an edge of concern that matches Ranger's alertness. Sofia grabs her backpack, and Ranger moves to his pre-departure position by the front door. This too is part of their routine. He'll watch her walk to the bus stop, then resume his guard duties at home. "Te amo, abuela," Sofia calls out, heading for the door. "Te amo, mi cielo. Remember Mrs. Garcia is picking you up after school today. I have that meeting at the clinic." Outside, the morning heat already shimmers off the pavement. Sophia walks down their long driveway, Ranger watching from the porch. Neither of them notices the dark sedan parked 3 blocks away, or the man inside speaking quietly into a satellite phone. Target's heading to school now. The dog stays with the house during the day. Everything's proceeding according to plan. In the kitchen, Rosa Martinez pulls an old photo from her pocket. Miguel in his Marine uniform, kneeling beside a younger Ranger in tactical gear. Their last photo together, taken just before the border operation that would change everything. "Cuídalas, viejo soldado," she whispers, noting another unfamiliar vehicle rolling past their house. Her hand drifts to the locked drawer where she keeps her late son's service weapon. 20 years as an ER nurse taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, those instincts are screaming that trouble is coming. Ranger's low growl from the porch confirms her fears. In the distance, Sophia's yellow school bus disappears around a corner, while in the shadows of Mesa Verde's quiet streets, dangerous men begin moving their pieces into position. The morning sun climbs higher, casting long shadows across the town. Shadows that hide secrets, threats, and the first moves of a game that will explode into violence before sunset. The war dog on the porch maintains his watch, unaware that his next battle is about to begin. But deep in his warrior's heart, where training meets instinct, Ranger remains ready. Ready to protect, ready to serve, ready to prove that some soldiers never truly retire. They just find new wars to fight and new people to protect. The black SUV idles behind an abandoned gas station a mile from the Martinez home. Inside, Alejandro Reyes studies drone footage on his tablet while 4 sicarios gear up around him. His cold eyes scan the property layout as he speaks into an encrypted phone. "The routes have to be documented somewhere," Reyes says, his cultured voice betraying his cartel education in Madrid. Martinez wouldn't have died protecting nothing. Carlos Vega, former Mexican Special Forces turned cartel enforcer, checks his weapon. What about the dog? Military canines can be unpredictable. It's been 18 months since it was served. Now it's just a pet. Focus on the grandmother. She's the key. At Mesa Verde Middle School, Sophia sits in her science class, but her attention keeps drifting to the window. Something feels wrong today. During morning recess, she'd spotted 2 men watching the playground from a parked car. When her teacher asked them to leave, they smiled too widely and drove away too slowly. Sophia Martinez. Mrs. Thompson's voice breaks through her thoughts. The stages of cell division? Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now, back to the story. The afternoon sun hangs heavy over Mesa Verde as all the pieces begin moving at once. At the school, Sophia feels the net tightening. At home, Ranger and Rosa prepare for unwelcome visitors. And across town, Alejandro Reyes issues the order that will turn a quiet Arizona afternoon into a war zone. None of them realize that this is exactly what Miguel Martinez planned for. In the sealed envelope beneath Rosa's trembling fingers lies not just evidence, but a carefully laid trap 18 months in the making. The question is, will Ranger's training and Rosa's courage be enough to spring it? Sophia Martinez knows something is wrong the moment the fire alarm rings. It's not the standard pause and resume pattern of a drill, but a continuous blare that sends students streaming into the hallways. Through the chaos, she spots the man from the office moving against the flow of traffic, headed straight for her. "Classroom! Everyone out!" Mrs. Thompson shepherds her students toward the exit. "Stay together!" Sophia breaks from the group, remembering her father's words. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts. She ducks into the library instead of following the evacuation route. Through the windows, she sees black SUVs pulling up to the schools. Side exits. At home, Ranger's ears prick up seconds before Rosa hears the back gate creak. The German shepherd moves silently to his defensive position, muscle memory from hundreds of combat scenarios taking over. Rosa clutches Miguel's sealed envelope and service weapon, backing toward the panic room her son had insisted on installing. When they first moved to Mesa Verde, "We know you're in there, Senora Martinez," a cultured voice calls from outside. "We just want to talk about your son's last case." Ranger's growl deepens as footsteps approach the back door. His tactical training catalogues the threats. 4 sets of footsteps, weapons by their gait, professional by their spacing. "Senora Martinez," Alejandro Reyes calls again, "it would be better for everyone if you cooperate, especially your granddaughter." The mention of Sophia shifts something in Ranger's stance. His combat training merges with his protective instincts. As the first lock clicks, Detective Ortiz's cruiser screams down Mesa Verde streets, sirens wailing. His radio crackles with updates. Shots fired at the Martinez home. Suspicious activity at Mesa Verde Middle School. Multiple suspects. He's still 6 minutes out. In the school library, Sophia crawls between shelves as voices approach. Her phone vibrates. A text from an unknown number. "Come out now. Your grandmother needs you." Her hands shake, but she remembers Ranger's training. Sessions with her father. Stay calm. Think. Plan. The back door of the Martinez home splinters inward. Ranger remains still, using his training to maximum effect. The first man enters, weapon raised. He never sees the shadow detaching from behind the door. 80 pounds of military-trained muscle and bone slam into his gun arm with precision force. Contact. The man screams as Ranger's teeth find his wrist, using the exact pressure point his trainers taught him. The weapon clatters away. Rosa seizes her moment, squeezing off 2 warning shots that send the other men diving for cover. "The next ones won't miss," she shouts, her ER nurse training keeping her voice steady. Outside, Reyes responds by reading coordinates into his phone. "Target 2 is moving. All units converge on the school. Get the girl." In the library, Sophia makes her decision. The library's back exit leads to the maintenance yard. If she can reach the church across the street. A hand grabs her backpack. Sophia reacts instantly, dropping to the ground just as Ranger had taught her during their play sessions. The backpack slips off, and she rolls under a table. "Little brat!" Carlos Vega's frustration shows as he lunges for her. Sophia kicks out. At his knee, another move practiced with Ranger, and scrambles away. At the house, Ranger engages the second intruder. His military training shows in every movement. Disable, don't kill, protect the civilians. The man's body armor prevents serious injury, but Ranger's impact sends him crashing into a wall. The third man retreats, calling for backup. Rosa uses the chaos to reach the panic room, sealing herself inside with Miguel's envelope. Through the security monitors, she watches Ranger in action, finally understanding why her son had called him. The unit's best. Sophia bursts out of the school's back exit, heart pounding. The maintenance yard stretches before her, chain-link fence beyond. Behind her, boots thunder on concrete. Detective Ortiz arrives at the school just as Sophia reaches the fence. His cruiser screeches to a halt, providing cover as the first shots ring out. "Sophia, down!" Parker draws his weapon as Vega and his men emerge from the building. At home, Ranger stands guard over 2 incapacitated intruders, blood from superficial wounds dripping from his muzzle. His ears pricked toward the distant sound of gunfire, every instinct screaming that Sophia is in danger. In the panic room, Rosa makes her choice. She opens Miguel's envelope, reading the first line of his letter. If you're reading this, they've finally figured it out. But Ranger knows what to do. The afternoon sun hangs low as chaos erupts across Mesa Verde. At the school, Ortiz exchanges fire with Vega's men, while Sophia runs for safety. At the house, Ranger awaits Rosa's command, knowing his next move will change everything. And in the sealed envelope, Miguel Martinez's last orders begin to reveal a plan 18 months in the making. A plan that depends entirely on the bond between a girl and her dog, and a warrior's promise to protect his family at all costs. Rosa's hands steady as she reads her son's letter. Years of emergency room experience keeping her focused despite the chaos outside. Through the panic room's monitors, she watches Ranger standing guard over the incapacitated intruders, his training evident in every controlled movement. "Ranger, Commando Annular Delta 7, she reads aloud. The code phrases Miguel had drilled her on suddenly make sense. The German Shepherd's ears prick forward, combat programming activating fully. Find Sophia, protect, escort to Safe House Alpha. Ranger moves instantly, military efficiency in every stride, as he exits through the broken door. Behind him, Rosa continues reading Miguel's letter, her eyes widening at the real reason these men are here. At the school, Sophia presses herself against the church's brick wall, heart thundering. Detective Ortiz's voice carries across the parking lot, demanding the gunmen stand down. More sirens wail in the distance. "The girl's worthless to you now," Ortiz shouts, trying to buy time. "We have your men at the house. It's over." Carlos Vega's laugh carries an edge of steel. "You don't even know what this is about, detective. This was never about just grabbing a hostage." Sophia peers around the corner, seeing Vega's men taking positions around Ortiz's cruiser. Their movements are too professional, too coordinated for ordinary cartel soldiers. Her father had taught her to observe details, military-grade gear, tactical formations, encrypted radios. A hand touches her shoulder. Sophia nearly screams before recognizing Elena Garcia, their elderly neighbor who often walks to the church for afternoon prayer. "Back door's open, menina," Elena whispers, her gardening club key ring jingling softly. "Father Michael's office has a tunnel from Prohibition days. Your daddy showed it to me last year, said I might need to know about it someday." Across town, Ranger moves like a ghost through back alleys, his training allowing him to avoid the additional vehicles now converging on the area. His mission is clear: reach Sophia, establish secure transport, escort to Safe House Alpha. The battle-proven K9 had run similar protection details in Afghanistan. Though never with stakes this personal, Reyes slams his fist against the van's dashboard as reports come in. "What do you mean they're not in the panic room? Where's the dog?" "Sir," one of his men responds over the radio, "Martinez's letter mentioned something about Safe House Alpha before the woman destroyed it. The dog, it responded to some kind of command code." Reyes's eyes narrow. "He planned this. Even from the grave, Miguel Martinez is still running the operation." He switches channels. "All units converge on the church. The tunnel system. That's how they moved the evidence." Inside the church, Elena guides Sophia through the dark office. "Your father mapped all the Prohibition tunnels last year," she explains, pulling aside a heavy bookcase. "Said if anything happened, I should tell you about his summer project with Ranger." Sophia's mind races. Last summer, her father and Ranger had disappeared for hours at a time, claiming they were training. She'd assumed it was regular K9 maintenance training, but now... "The tunnels connect to 3 possible safe houses," Elena continues, her earlier fear replaced by calm efficiency. "Ranger knows them all. Your father made sure of that." Detective Ortiz's voice echoes through his radio as backup finally arrives. SWAT teams deploy around the school perimeter while Ortiz relays the situation. Multiple armed suspects, military training evident, possible cartel connections. They're after something specific, something Miguel Martinez hid before his last mission. In the tunnel, Sophia freezes at a familiar sound, Ranger's distinct bark pattern. One short, 2 long, their warning signal. "He's found us," she whispers, relieved tears threatening. Elena smiles grimly. "Right on schedule. Your father knew what he was doing, setting all this up. Ranger's not just here to protect you, Sophia. He's part of the end game." Above ground, Reyes's men begin a systematic search of the area, but they're looking in the wrong places. Miguel Martinez had spent months preparing this contingency, using his DEA knowledge of the old bootlegging routes. Every move today was predicted, planned for, and countered in advance. Ranger reaches Sofia immediately, taking point position. His tactical training shines as he leads them through the tunnel system, choosing routes that avoid the weakened sections Elena marks on. An old map. Your father spent weeks down here with Ranger, Elena explains as they move, teaching him every route, every exit. The evidence isn't just documents, Sofia. It's a whole network of information, and Ranger is the key to accessing it. Reyes, reviewing the situation from his command vehicle, finally understands. The dog, he growls. Martinez trained the dog to lead them to different evidence caches based on specific triggers. That's why he made sure it went to his family. The afternoon sun casts long shadows as multiple forces converge on Mesa Verde. SWAT teams secure the school, police establish perimeters, and Reyes's men continue their search. But underground, a girl, a neighbor, and a war dog move steadily towards Safe House Alpha, where the first piece of Miguel Martinez's master plan waits to be revealed. In the panic room, Rosa Martinez allows herself a small smile as she watches. The security feeds. Miguel had known this day would come and had spent his last months preparing for it. Now everything depends on Ranger's training, Sofia's trust, and the complex web of plans, a dying father left to protect his family and serve justice. One final time. Safe House. Alpha turns out to be an abandoned ranger station on the outskirts of Mesa Verde, carefully hidden behind years of strategic neglect. Ranger leads Sofia and Eleanor through a concealed entrance, his movements precise and purposeful. Every few minutes, he stops to listen, his military training evident in the way he clears each room before allowing them to enter. Your father chose this place carefully, Elena explains, pulling aside dust-covered sheets to reveal modern surveillance equipment. Used to be a DEA observation post in the 80s, off all official records now. Sofia watches Ranger move to a specific corner, pawing at the floorboards. He wants us to look there, she says, remembering similar behavior during their training sessions last summer. The sun is fully set now, casting Mesa Verde's industrial district into deep shadows. But through those shadows moves a uniquely trained dog, leading his charges not away from danger, but toward a carefully planned revelation. Safe House. Bravo waits ahead, ready to expose the next layer of a conspiracy that reaches far beyond a small Arizona border town. Safe House Bravo looms before them, an abandoned cold storage facility on the edge of Mesa Verde's industrial district. Ranger pauses at the perimeter, his tactical training evident as he performs a final security sweep before leading them to a hidden entrance. Your father chose this place for a reason, Eleanor whispers, helping Sofia navigate the dark corridor. These walls are 3 feet of concrete and steel. Cold storage units were built like bunkers in the 50s. Sofia watches Ranger move to a specific storage unit, his nose working methodically across the door surface. Unit 247, she says, remembering her father's training sessions. He used to quiz me about random numbers. Said someday they'd be important. Eleanor's eyes narrow with understanding. Combination lock. Ranger's been trained to recognize the specific unit. Miguel taught him the sequence during their summer sessions. Ranger confirms her words by pawing the floor in a distinct pattern. Sofia spins the dial, muscle memory from countless practice sessions guiding her hands. Inside the unit, they find more than just evidence: tactical gear, communications equipment, and most importantly, a laptop connected to a satellite uplink. This isn't just documentation, Eleanor says, her military intelligence background evident as she scans the files. Your father uncovered an entire shadow operation, corrupt federal agents working with the cartels, law enforcement selling information, an entire network of collaboration. Reyes's voice crackles through their stolen radio. All units converge. On the cold storage facility, standard breach and clear procedures. They're not even trying to hide their military protocols anymore, Elena notes grimly. Every transmission confirms their training. Your father's plan is working. They're so focused on catching us, they're exposing exactly who they are, in tune. The police command center, Ortiz, watches the operation unfold. We've got confirmed transmissions using military encryption, he tells Rosa. These aren't cartel soldiers. They're government-trained operatives. The second cache proves it, Rosa responds from the panic room, reviewing the data Sophia's transmitting. Miguel found evidence of a secret program, corrupt federal agents hired by the cartels using official resources to protect drug shipments. Ranger suddenly growls a specific tone Sophia recognizes from training. 3 minutes, she translates. Dad taught him different warning signals. Standard breach timeline, Elena confirms, quickly gathering their gear. They'll hit all entrances simultaneously. But your father planned for this too. Sophia follows Ranger to what appears to be a solid wall. The German shepherd touches his nose to specific points, revealing a hidden maintenance shaft. The whole facility is rigged with sensor panels, Eleanor explains as they slip inside. Ranger's been trained to activate them in sequence every time. They chase us. They leave evidence of their capabilities. They're recording everything. Reyes realizes too late, watching his tactical teams deploy. Every radio transmission, every breach procedure. Martinez isn't just exposing our operation. He's proving we have military training. Sir, Vega reports urgently, FBI is moving in. They've got our tactical frequencies. Every transmission we make is proof we're not ordinary criminals. Fall back, Reyes finishes. Switch to contingency protocols, but Ranger's already leading. Sophia and Elena through the facility's hidden infrastructure. Each move triggers another sensor, another camera cataloging the pursuit team's professional responses. Your father spent months preparing this, Elena says, as they emerge in an unexpected location. Every safe house is rigged to document their pursuit. The more professionally they chase us, the more they prove Miguel was right about who they really are. Ranger leads them through complex turns in the tunnel system, each move precisely timed to avoid sweep teams. His combat experience shows in how he uses sound and shadows to mask their movement. Your father and Ranger spent months practicing urban evasion, Elena explains, as they pause in a secure position, every route, every hiding spot carefully chosen to draw out their pursuit teams. Sophia studies Ranger's alert posture. He's not just leading us away from them. Sometimes he deliberately lets them get close, like he's testing their response, forcing them to show their capabilities, Elena finishes. Your father trained him to provoke specific tactical reactions. Above ground, Ortiz coordinates with FBI Tactical Command. We've confirmed military-grade equipment, specialized combat protocols, and secured federal communications. Everything Miguel documented in the evidence. The second cache transmission just finished. Rosa reports from the panic room. We've got identification on their government contacts. This goes higher than anyone imagined. Ranger's ears suddenly prick forward, his warning signal. Through the walls, they hear Reyes's men implementing another specialized protocol. They're switching to black ops procedures, Elena translates. Digital communications, thermal imaging, sound suppressors, equipment only available to federal agents. Sophia checks their stolen radio as encrypted transmissions begin. More proof, she says. Every time they escalate, they confirm what Dad discovered. Ranger leads them toward what appears to be a dead end, but his nose finds another hidden sensor panel. The wall slides aside, revealing a maintenance elevator shaft. Your father mapped every utility access point in Mesa Verde, Elena explains, as they begin their descent. Created an entire underground network that only Ranger knows how to navigate. Reyes's frustration peaks as his teams lose the trail again. "They're using infrastructure that doesn't exist on any current plans," he snaps. "Martinez didn't just train the dog for combat, he created an urban warfare maze." "Sir," Vega reports, "DEA liaison is asking for updates. They're concerned about exposure." "They should be," Reyes growls. "Everything we've done tonight proves we're government-sanctioned. Martinez is turning our own professionalism against us." Ranger guides them through the basement level, his movements becoming more purposeful. Each step brings them closer to Safe House Charlie, where Miguel Martinez's final evidence cache waits to expose the full scope of the conspiracy. This was never just about finding evidence, Sophia realizes as they move through the darkness. Dad knew they'd send their best teams, use their most advanced techniques, and every time they do, they prove his case. "Your father's last mission wasn't just gathering evidence," Elena confirms. "It was creating a trap that his enemies would spring themselves." The night deepens as multiple forces converge on Mesa Verde. FBI tactical teams move to secure the perimeter, police establish containment zones, and Reyes's operatives continue their increasingly desperate pursuit. Through it all, Ranger leads. His charges toward the final revelation, every step part of a plan, 18 months in the making. Safe House. Charlie waits ahead, ready to expose not just a cartel operation, but a conspiracy that reaches into the highest levels of federal law enforcement. And as Ranger's ears track movement above, his combat training tells him the hardest. Fight still lies ahead. Midnight approaches as Ranger leads them through Mesa Verde's abandoned train yard. Safe House. Charlie looms ahead, an old signal control building that Miguel Martinez converted into his final stronghold. The German Shepherd moves with heightened alertness, his combat training detecting multiple threats converging on their position. 3 helicopters incoming, Elena warns, checking their stolen radio. Not police, military grade, no radar signatures, black ops. Dad said if we ever heard silent choppers, it meant government operators. Sophia translates, remembering her father's lessons. Ranger suddenly freezes, dropping into an aggressive stance. Through the darkness, they hear boots on gravel, professional operators moving with lethal precision. "Federal tactical teams," Elena whispers, recognizing their movement patterns. "Your father was right. This goes all the way to the top." Reyes's voice cuts through their radio. "All units, full tactical deployment authorized. Forget protocols. Get that dog and the evidence." "They're panicking," Eleanor observes, as multiple teams converge, using classified equipment, advanced tactics. Everything that proves they're government-backed. Ranger guides them between freight cars, his military training transforming every shadow into cover. Sophia watches his ears track movement above, operators taking sniper positions on the surrounding buildings. "Dad's last message said Ranger's final training would activate here," Sophia says, pulling out her father's letter. "Something about maximum defensive protocols." Eleanor's eyes widen with understanding. "Your father didn't just train Ranger for evasion. He prepared him for this exact scenario." The German Shepherd confirms her words by leading them to what appears to be a maintenance shed. His nose touches specific points, revealing a hidden entrance to Safe House Charlie. Inside, they find more than evidence: tactical gear, communications equipment, and most surprisingly, a wall of monitors showing live feeds from across Mesa Verde. "Your father spent months setting this up," Eleanor explains, scanning the displays. "Every camera they've passed, every sensor they've triggered, it's all been recording their operation." "Command, target located," a voice crackles through their radio. "Implementing Protocol 0. "That's a death squad order," Elena translates grimly. "They're done hiding who they are." Ranger's posture shifts as his final training protocols activate. Sophia watches in amazement as the dog moves to specific positions, triggering defensive systems throughout the building. This is what Dad meant. She realizes. Ranger's not just trained to run, he knows how to fight back. In his command vehicle, Reyes receives urgent updates. Sir, the FBI is moving in force. They've got proof of federal involvement. Homeland Security is monitoring our channels. Martinez planned this perfectly, Reyes growls. We've exposed ourselves trying to catch them. Every move we've made proves we're government operatives. Ortiz coordinates with FBI Tactical Command. As multiple agencies converge, Miguel Martinez's evidence is confirmed. We've got documented proof of cartel infiltration, corrupt federal agents, international connections. The final cache is being transmitted now. Ranger suddenly growls, a sound Sophia's never heard before. Through the windows, they see tactical teams taking position around the building. Your father's last protocol, Eleanor says, understanding Dawn. Ranger's not just going to protect us, he's going to help us expose them. The German Shepherd moves with deadly purpose, activating systems throughout Safe House Charlie. Security feeds capture every operator's position, every piece of classified equipment they're deploying. ECM jammers, thermal imaging, sound suppressors, Elena catalogs. All restricted federal hardware, more proof of who they really are. Sophia watches Ranger coordinate their defense, his years of combat training culminating in this moment. Dad knew they'd come with everything they had. That's exactly what he wanted. Reyes realizes too late the trap they've walked into. Martinez is recording everything. Our equipment, our tactics, our communications. Everything that proves we're a federal black ops unit. Sir, Vega reports urgently, FBI counterintelligence is on scene. They're preparing to move in. Of course. They are, Reyes snarls. Martinez planned this from the start. We're not just exposed, we're surrounded. Ranger takes up his final defensive position as multiple forces converge on Safe House Charlie. His combat training tells him the hardest. Fight lies ahead, but his mission remains clear. Protect Sophia, defend the evidence, expose the truth. The night reaches its darkest point as Mesa Verde becomes a battleground. FBI tactical teams prepare to breach. Federal operators move to eliminate witnesses. Police establish containment zones. And at the center of it all, a highly trained military. Dog prepares to fulfill his final mission, exposing a conspiracy that reaches into the highest levels of power. The first assault on Safe House. Charlie begins with an eerie silence. Ranger's ears track multiple teams converging through the darkness, his combat training identifying each distinct threat. Thermal cameras show 20 operators taking position around the building, their movements revealing extensive federal training. Three-man teams, counterclockwise sweep pattern, Elena analyzes, watching the security feeds. That's a federal tactical formation. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Sophia monitors Ranger's behavior as the dog moves between defensive positions. Each stance, each alert posture reflects years of military training now focused on this singular moment. Delta. A team in position, crackles their stolen radio, implementing Protocol 0. Ranger suddenly shifts into an aggressive stance, a warning Sophia recognizes from their training sessions. Seconds later, the first flashbangs detonate against the reinforced windows. They're testing our defenses, Elena says, moving to the control station. Standard federal breach protocol. Your father prepared for this. Ranger responds instantly to the attack, activating pre-positioned countermeasures. Security cameras capture every operator's face, every piece of classified equipment as high-intensity lights flood the perimeter. Command, we've been compromised, an operator reports. Target facility has military-grade security systems. I don't care about exposure anymore. Reyes's voice cuts through. Breach the building, eliminate all witnesses. The assault begins in earnest as multiple teams breach simultaneously. Ranger moves with lethal precision, his military training transforming him from family guardian to combat operator. Look at his movement patterns, Elena observes as Ranger coordinates their defense. Your father trained him to recognize and counter specific tactical formations. Through the security feeds, they watch Rangers training in action. The German Shepherd anticipates each breach point, triggering defensive measures with surgical precision. Smoke generators activate at crucial moments, disrupting thermal imaging. Strobes disorient night vision equipment. They're using classified federal hardware, Elena catalogs as cameras, record the assault. ECM jammers, next-gen thermal, sound suppressors, all restricted to government operators. More proof. Sophia realizes, understanding her father's strategy. Every piece of equipment they use proves they're not ordinary criminals. Ranger suddenly barks a specific pattern. 3 short, 2 long. Sophia recognizes the signal from their training sessions. Secondary breach imminent, she translates, moving to the backup controls. Dad made sure I knew all the Rangers' warning signals. The dog's prediction proves accurate as explosive charges detonate against the rear entrance. Ranger responds instantly, positioning himself between Sophia and the threat. Sir, the target's got military-grade countermeasures, Vega reports to Reyes. Martinez equipped them with our own hardware. Of course he did, Reyes snarls. He's using our own tactics against us. Every move we make proves his case about who we really are. In the FBI command post, Ortiz watches the operation unfold through surveillance feeds. We've got confirmed federal tactical teams using classified equipment. Everything Miguel documented is being validated in real time. The final evidence cache is still transmitting, Rosa reports from the panic room. Every agency in the country is seeing proof of this conspiracy. Ranger's ears suddenly prick toward a new threat. Through the smoke, they hear rappel lines deploying. On the roof, vertical assault teams, Elena identifies. They're using every tactic in the federal playbook. The German Shepherd responds with practiced efficiency, each movement reflecting countless training scenarios. He guides Sophia and Elena to hardened positions as the assault intensifies. Your father and Ranger spent months preparing for this exact situation, Elena explains between explosions. Every countermeasure, every defensive position carefully planned. Sophia watches the Ranger coordinate their defense with military precision. He's not just protecting us, she realizes. He's making them expose themselves. Through their stolen radio, they hear the frustration mounting. Command, target facility is hardened beyond civilian specs. They've got federal countermeasures for everything we throw at them. Push harder, Reyes orders. Use everything we've got. Authorization Omega-7. That's a classified assault protocol, Elena translates grimly. They're about to hit us with restricted federal hardware. Ranger's posture shifts as new threats emerge. Operators deploy sonic weapons, breach charges, even toxic gas, all documented by the facility's cameras. Each piece of equipment they use is restricted to government agencies. Your father knew they'd have to expose their full capabilities. Elena explains as Ranger triggers countermeasures. Every assault proves they're federal operatives. The assault reaches its peak as multiple teams breach simultaneously. Ranger moves like a ghost through the chaos, his military training evident in every calculated response. Look at his tactical patterns, Elena observes. He's not just defending, he's forcing them to adapt, to use increasingly specialized techniques. Sophia understands the strategy now. Dad trained him to provoke specific responses. The more they escalate, the more they prove they're federal operators. Your father turned their own professionalism against them, Elena finishes. They can't help showing their training. Ranger suddenly freezes, his ears tracking a new threat pattern through the chaos. They hear helicopter rotors approaching, military gunships using classified stealth technology. They're desperate enough to risk exposing classified aircraft. Elena warns, recognizing the sound signature. But Ranger's already moving to counter this escalation, the dog activating specialized protocols, his training anticipating this exact scenario. Look at these movement patterns, Eleanor says, watching Ranger coordinate their defense. Your father trained him to recognize and counter specific federal assets. Sophia understands now, watching Ranger work. Every response they send, every piece of equipment they use, proves exactly who they are. Your father knew they'd have to expose their full capabilities trying to stop us, Elena finishes. Through their tactical network, they hear Reyes's growing desperation. I don't care about exposure anymore. Bring in everything we've got. Authorization Omega Black. That's a scorched earth protocol, Elena translates grimly. They're going to try leveling the entire facility. Ranger responds to the threat instantly, his training shifting to maximum defensive posture. The dog moves between stations, activating countermeasures specifically designed for this scenario. Sir, the target facility has military-grade anti-aircraft defenses, an operator reports. Martinez prepared for everything, Reyes growled. He knew exactly what assets we'd deploy. Every move we make validates his evidence. FBI tactical teams secure the perimeter as Ranger coordinates facility defense. The German Shepherd's movements reflect years of specialized training, now focused on this crucial moment. Multiple agencies responding. Ortiz updates them. DEA, Homeland Security, military intelligence, they're all seeing proof of this conspiracy in real time. Sophia watches Ranger direct FBI teams through their defense network. Dad spent years preparing him for this exact situation. Your father knew they'd bring everything they had, Elena explains, as Ranger counters another assault team. Each response exposes more of their classified capabilities. The night erupts in chaos as federal gunships begin their attack run. Ranger's training proves invaluable as he activates automated defense systems, forcing the aircraft to expose their classified signatures. Command, we're detecting multiple federal response teams, Vega reports frantically. FBI, ATF, Homeland Security, they're all moving to secure evidence. Reyes's frustration peaks as his operation collapses. Martinez planned this perfectly. His dog isn't just defending them, it's coordinating a multi-agency takedown. Through the facility's cameras, they watch Ranger's master strategy unfold. Every defensive move forces federal operators to abandon more classified equipment. Every countermeasure documents their restricted tactics. This is what Dad meant about Ranger's ultimate training, Sophia realizes as the dog coordinates another defensive sequence. He's not just protecting us, he's exposing their entire operation. Elena nods, watching Ranger direct FBI teams through the chaos. Your father knew they'd have to commit everything they had. That's exactly what he wanted. Every piece of classified hardware, every restricted protocol proves their guilt. The assault reaches new intensity as federal operators make their final push, but Ranger's training never wavers. The German Shepherd moves with lethal precision, coordinating defense while documenting every aspect of the conspiracy. Multiple federal agencies moving to secure the area, Ortiz reports. International law enforcement has been notified. This conspiracy is being exposed worldwide. Through smoke and gunfire, Ranger maintains his protective stance. His military training merges with Miguel Martinez's master plan as the operation reaches its climax. Your father knew this day would come, Hildner tells Sophia as Ranger coordinates another defensive sequence. Everything he trained Ranger for, every protocol he established, was leading to this moment. The night blazes with combat as multiple agencies converge on Safe House Charlie. But at the center of the chaos, a highly trained military dog continues his ultimate mission, protecting his family while exposing a conspiracy that reaches into the highest levels of power. Reyes's final assault begins with a massive breach attempt from all sides. Ranger's ears track multiple teams converging through the smoke-filled night, his combat training identifying each distinct threat pattern. Through the facility's hardened windows, muzzle flashes, Illuminati operators moving with desperate precision. They're committing everything, Elena analyzes, watching tactical feeds. 3 full strike teams plus air support. They know they're exposed and they're beyond caring. Sophia monitors Ranger's response as the German Shepherd coordinates their final defense. Each movement reflects years of specialized training, now focused on this crucial moment. All teams execute Protocol Omega. Reyes's voice carries raw fury through their stolen radio. Level the entire facility. No evidence survives. Ranger responds instantly to the escalation, his military training shifting to maximum defensive imposture. The dog moves between predetermined positions, activating Miguel Martinez's final countermeasures. Your father prepared for this exact scenario, Elena explains as automated defenses engage. He knew they'd eventually abandon all pretense of deniability. Through security feeds, they watch Ranger's strategy unfold. The German Shepherd coordinates with FBI tactical teams, his training seamlessly integrating with federal response protocols. Command, we're facing organized resistance, Vega reports frantically. Multiple agencies moving to secure evidence. International authorities en route. Reyes's desperation shows as he orders, deploy everything. Use all classified assets. Authorization final black. That's a doomsday protocol, Elena translates grimly. They're about to expose their most restricted capabilities. Ranger's ears suddenly prick toward new threats. Stealth helicopters. They're carrying elite operators, but the dog's training anticipated even this. His movements trigger specialized countermeasures, forcing the aircraft to reveal their classified signatures. Sir, the target facility has military-grade anti-air defenses, an operator reports. They're recording our tactical signatures. Every move we make is being documented and transmitted worldwide. Drake's dog isn't just defending them, Reyes finishes, finally understanding the trap. It's forcing us to expose everything. FBI tactical teams establish containment zones as Ranger coordinates facility defense. The German Shepherd moves with practiced efficiency, his military training now serving a larger purpose. Multiple federal agencies securing the perimeter, Ortiz updates from command. CIA, DEA, Homeland Security, they're all witnessing this conspiracy unravel in real time. Sophia watches Ranger direct response teams through their defense network. Dad knew exactly how they'd react. Every protocol, every countermeasure was designed to force them into revealing themselves. Betty confirms, as Ranger counters another assault team, your father turned their own capabilities against them. The night erupts in chaos as Reyes commits his remaining forces. Ranger's training proves invaluable as he activates final defense. In protocols, each response documenting more evidence of the conspiracy. Command, international law enforcement accessing our tactical feeds, Vega reports desperately. Interpol, Federales, they're all seeing our classified operations. Reyes's organization begins to fracture as operators realize the extent of their exposure. All teams fall back to extraction points, implement burnout protocols. But Ranger's already moving to counter their retreat. The dog's military training allows him to predict and block escape routes, herding operators into federal containment zones. Your father knew they'd try running once exposed, Elena explains, as Ranger coordinates with response teams. Every escape route leads them straight to waiting authorities. Through facility cameras, they watch Reyes's operation collapse. Operators abandon classified equipment as they flee. Communication channels fill with panic as agents realize the extent of their compromise. multiple agencies moving to secure suspects, Ortiz reports. International arrest warrants being issued. This conspiracy is being dismantled worldwide. Ranger maintains his protective stance as chaos engulfs Mesa Verde. His training merges with Miguel Martinez's master plan as federal teams secure the area. This is what Dad meant about Ranger's ultimate purpose, Sophia realizes, watching the dog coordinate. Another defensive sequence. He's not just our protector. He's the key to exposing everything. Elena nods as Ranger directs FBI teams through the facility. Your father knew they'd have to commit all their resources, every piece of classified equipment, every restricted protocol builds the case against them. Reyes's voice carries defeat as he orders final evacuation. All teams scatter protocol enacted, every operator for themselves. But Ranger's training prepared for this too. The German Shepherd moves with lethal precision, ensuring no operative escapes with classified technology. International Task Force incoming, Ortiz updates them. Agencies worldwide are moving to arrest identified conspirators. This goes beyond anything we imagined. Through smoke and chaos, Ranger maintains his mission focus. His military training serves its ultimate purpose as the conspiracy crumbles around them. Your father would be proud, Elena tells Sophia as Ranger coordinates with federal teams. Everything he taught Ranger, every protocol he established, led to this moment. The night blazes with final confrontations as multiple agencies secure the area. But at the center of it all, a highly trained military dog continues his sworn duty, protecting his family while helping dismantle one of the largest law enforcement conspiracies in history. It's over, Sophia whispers, as Ranger returns to her side, his mission nearly complete. But the German Shepherd maintains his alert stance, knowing that securing evidence and protecting his family remains crucial until the last conspirator is in custody. Dawn approaches as federal teams establish full control. Shadow's training has served its purpose, exposing a conspiracy and protecting those in his care. But the dog's vigilance never wavers, understanding that his real mission, being guardian and protector to his family, continues long after this night's chaos fades. Dawn breaks over Mesa Verde as federal teams secure the perimeter of safe. Host Charlie, Ranger maintains his vigilant watch, his military training still evident in every movement despite the changing situation. Through the facility's windows, they watch multiple agencies coordinating evidence collection. International task force teams arriving, Elena announces, monitoring secure channels. Interpol, Federales, even DEA internal affairs. Your father's evidence has triggered worldwide response. Sophia watches Ranger patrol their position, the German Shepherd switching seamlessly between combat mode and protective guardian. His training allows him to recognize friendly forces while remaining alert for potential threats. Look at his tactical awareness, Elena observes as Ranger coordinates with federal teams. Even now, he's maintaining full security protocols while adapting to changing circumstances. Detective Ortiz enters the facility after thorough verification, his expression a mix of awe and professional respect. The scale of what your father uncovered, it's beyond anything we imagined. Multiple agencies confirming evidence. Validation comes through. Rosa's voice carries through their secure line. Miguel's documentation proves corruption at the highest levels of multiple law enforcement agencies. Ranger escorts Ortiz through their defense network, the dog's training allowing him to integrate new allies while maintaining security. Through the facility's cameras, they watch federal teams discovering more evidence of the conspiracy. Internal affairs is moving on their compromised units, Ortiz reports, reviewing incoming data. DEA's tracking financial connections worldwide. This goes deeper than anyone suspected. Elena nods grimly, her military intelligence experience reading between the lines. Miguel didn't just expose a single operation. He uncovered an entire shadow network of corrupt officials and agencies. Through their tactical feeds, they hear increasing chaos as the conspiracy unravels. Multiple high-level arrests in progress, federal agents, military contractors, international operators. They're all being exposed. Ranger's ears suddenly prick toward a new movement, helicopters approaching. But these carry different signatures. Ones his training identifies as friendly forces, international law enforcement arriving to secure evidence. Your father's plan worked perfectly, Elena tells Sophia as they watch federal teams coordinate. Every piece of evidence, every recorded operation builds an airtight case. Sophia studies Ranger's behavior as he adapts to the changing situation. He's still in protection mode, but different now, more precise. That's his advanced training, Elena explains. Miguel taught him to adjust his protocols based on threat levels. Right now, he's focusing on evidence security and witness protection. Ortiz's radio crackles with updates. Reyes spotted trying to cross the Mexican border. Local authorities are moving to intercept. Ranger's posture shifts slightly at Reyes's name, but his training keeps him focused on current priorities. The dog maintains his protective position while helping federal teams navigate the facility's security. Miguel Martinez's final mission, Ortiz says, watching Ranger work. He didn't just gather evidence, he created an entire operation to expose international corruption. Through secure channels, they hear the conspiracy collapsing worldwide. Multiple agencies reporting simultaneous raids, corrupt officials being arrested across 3 countries. Sir, we've confirmed the evidence's authenticity, an FBI analyst reports. Martinez's documentation creates an irrefutable chain of proof. No one's getting away this time. Ranger suddenly alerts to approaching vehicles. More federal teams, arriving with specialized equipment. The German Shepherd verifies their credentials through trained protocols before allowing access. Look at his procedural awareness, Elena. Observes. Every security check, every verification protocol. Miguel trained him to handle the aftermath too. Sophia watches international authorities coordinate evidence collection, understanding more of her father's plan. Dad knew it wouldn't be enough just to expose them. He had to make sure the evidence would stand up worldwide. That's why he spent so much time training Ranger, Elena confirms. The dog isn't just a witness, he's a crucial part of the evidence chain. His military background and documented training make his role legally verifiable. Ortiz receives another update. Reyes's vehicle spotted at a private airfield. FBI tactical teams moving to intercept local authorities establishing containment. Ranger's ears track the conversation, but his training keeps him focused on current priorities. The dog maintains security while helping process an endless stream of arriving federal agents. International prosecutors are already building cases, comes an update through secure channels. Martinez's evidence connects everything. Money trails, classified operations, corrupt officials at every level. Emily watches Ranger coordinate with evidence collection teams, his military training adapting to new requirements. He's making sure they document everything properly, isn't he? Miguel trained him to understand chain of custody, Elena explains, as Ranger guides federal agents through secured areas. Every piece of evidence needs to be collected according to international protocols. Through facility feeds, they watch the operation expand. Multiple agencies discovering new layers of the conspiracy with each piece of secured evidence. Ranger's training proves invaluable as he helps maintain proper documentation procedures. James Anderson's final gift to law enforcement, Ortiz observes, watching the dog work. He didn't just expose corruption, he created a perfect case that will stand up in any court worldwide. Ranger suddenly shifts position, detecting new movement patterns. More helicopters approach, carrying specialist teams from various agencies. The German Shepherd verifies each arrival through trained protocols. Your father knew this would become an international operation, Elena tells Sophia as they watch federal teams coordinate. Everything he taught Ranger, every protocol he established, was designed to handle multiple agencies working together. As dawn fully breaks over Mesa Verde, the facility becomes the center of a massive investigation. Ranger maintains his protective watch while helping process an endless stream of evidence and personnel. It's not just about exposing corruption anymore, Ortiz explains, reviewing incoming data. This is about dismantling entire networks of criminal enterprises hidden within law enforcement. Through secure channels, updates continue flowing. Multiple countries initiating internal investigations. Martinez's evidence exposing corruption at unprecedented levels. Ranger's training adapts to each new requirement as the operation expands. The German Shepherd maintains security while ensuring proper evidence handling, his military background proving crucial to the investigation's integrity. Morning sun illuminates dust clouds as multiple agencies coordinate Reyes's pursuit. Ranger's ears track incoming tactical updates, his military training processing each new development. Through secured channels, they monitor the unfolding chase across Arizona's border region. Reyes's vehicle spotted heading south on Route 92. Ortiz announces, coordinating with pursuit teams. He's moving toward a private airstrip near the Mexican border. Elena studies tactical displays as federal teams converge. Classic federal escape protocol. He'll have a prepared extraction plan, probably involving specialized aircraft. Ranger suddenly alerts to new information coming through their secure feeds. The German Shepherd moves to a specific monitoring station, his training recognizing critical patterns. Look at his response, Elena observes. Miguel taught him to identify priority intelligence. He knows Reyes is trying to reach specific coordinates. Sophia reviews her father's final notes as updates flow in. Dad mapped every possible escape route. He knew exactly how they'd try running once exposed. Through their tactical network, they hear increasing urgency. Target vehicle approaching Sierra Vista airfield. Multiple contacts reported on ground. Possible extraction team. Ranger's posture shifts as he processes the information, his combat experience analyzing threat patterns. The dog moves to another monitoring station, activating specific tracking. In protocols, Miguel programmed Ranger to recognize escape signatures, Elena explains as new data appears. Every federal extraction protocol, every emergency procedure, the dog knows how to counter them. Ortiz receives urgent updates. International teams confirming multiple suspects attempting simultaneous escapes. High-level conspirators worldwide trying to evade capture. Dawn breaks over Mesa Verde as federal teams secure the perimeter of Safe House Charlie. Ranger maintains his vigilant watch, his military training still evident in every movement despite the changing situation. Through the facility's windows, they watch multiple agencies coordinating evidence collection. International task force teams arriving, Elena announces, monitoring secure channels. Interpol, Federales, even DEA internal affairs. Your father's evidence has triggered worldwide response. Sophia watches Ranger patrol their position, the German Shepherd switching seamlessly between combat mode and protective guardian. His training allows him to recognize friendly forces while remaining alert for potential threats. Look at his tactical awareness, Elena observes as Ranger coordinates with federal teams. Even now, he's maintaining full security protocols while adapting to changing circumstances. Detective Ortiz enters the facility after thorough verification, his expression a mix of awe and professional respect. The scale of what your father uncovered, it's beyond anything we imagined. Multiple agencies confirming evidence. Validation comes through, Rosa's voice carries through their secure line. Miguel's documentation proves corruption at the highest levels of multiple law enforcement agencies. Ranger escorts Ortiz through their defense network, the dog's training allowing him to integrate new allies while maintaining security. Through the facility's cameras, they watch federal teams discovering more evidence of the conspiracy. Internal affairs is moving on their compromised units, Ortiz reports, reviewing incoming data. DEA's tracking financial connections worldwide. This goes deeper than anyone suspected. Elena nods grimly, her military intelligence experience reading between the lines. Miguel didn't just expose a single operation. He uncovered an entire shadow network of corrupt officials and agencies. Through their tactical feeds, they hear increasing chaos as the conspiracy unravels. Multiple high-level arrests in progress, federal agents, military contractors, international operators. They're all being exposed. Ranger's ears suddenly prick toward a new movement, helicopters approaching. But these carry different signatures, ones his training identifies as friendly forces. International law enforcement arriving to secure evidence. Your father's plan worked perfectly, Elena tells Sophia as they watch federal teams coordinate. Every piece of evidence, every recorded operation builds an airtight case. Sophia studies Ranger's behavior as he adapts to the changing situation. He's still in protection mode, but different now, more precise. That's his advanced training, Elena explains. Miguel taught him to adjust his protocols based on threat levels. Right now, he's focusing on evidence security and witness protection. Ortiz's radio crackles with updates. Reyes spotted trying to cross the Mexican border. Local authorities are moving to intercept. Ranger's posture shifts slightly at Reyes's name, but his training keeps him focused on current priorities. The dog maintains his protective position while helping federal teams navigate the facility's security. Miguel Martinez's final mission, Ortiz says, watching Ranger work. He didn't just gather evidence. He created an entire operation to expose international corruption. Through secure channels, they hear the conspiracy collapsing worldwide. Multiple agencies reporting simultaneous raids, corrupt officials being arrested across 3 countries. Sir, we've confirmed the evidence's authenticity, an FBI analyst reports. Martinez's documentation creates an irrefutable chain of proof. No one's getting away this time. Ranger suddenly alerts to approaching vehicles. More federal teams. Arriving with specialized equipment, the German Shepherd verifies their credentials through trained protocols before allowing access. Look at his procedural awareness, Elena observes. Every security check, every verification protocol, Miguel trained him to handle the aftermath too. Sophia watches international authorities coordinate evidence collection, understanding more of her father's plan. Dad knew it wouldn't be enough. Just to expose them, he had to make sure the evidence would stand up worldwide. That's why he spent so much time training Ranger, Elena confirms. The dog isn't just a witness. He's a crucial part of the evidence chain. His military background and documented training make his role legally verifiable. Ortiz receives another update. Reyes's vehicle spotted at a private airfield. FBI tactical teams moving to intercept local authorities establishing containment. Rangers. Ears track the conversation, but his training keeps him focused on current priorities. The dog maintains security while helping process an endless stream of arriving federal agents. International prosecutors are already building cases. Comes an update through secure channels. Martinez's evidence connects everything: money, trails, classified operations, corrupt officials at every level. Emily watches Ranger coordinate with evidence collection teams, his military training adapting to new requirements. He's making sure they document everything properly, isn't he? Miguel trained him to understand chain of custody, Elena explains, as Ranger guides federal agents through secured areas. Every piece of evidence needs to be collected according to international protocols. Through facility feeds, they watch the operation expand. Multiple agencies discovering new layers of the conspiracy with each piece of secured evidence. Ranger's training proves invaluable as he helps maintain proper documentation procedures. James Anderson's final gift to law enforcement, Ortiz observes, watching the dog work. He didn't just expose corruption, he created a perfect case that will stand up in any court worldwide. Ranger suddenly shifts position, detecting new movement patterns. More helicopters approach, carrying specialist teams from various agencies. The German Shepherd verifies each arrival through trained protocols. Your father knew this would become an international operation, Elena tells Sophia as they watch federal teams coordinate. Everything he taught Ranger, every protocol he established, was designed to handle multiple agencies working together. As dawn fully breaks over Mesa Verde, the facility becomes the center of a massive investigation. Ranger maintains his protective watch while helping process an endless stream of evidence and personnel. It's not just about exposing corruption anymore, Ortiz explains, reviewing incoming data. This is about dismantling entire networks of criminal enterprises hidden within law enforcement. Through secure channels, updates continue flowing, multiple countries initiating internal investigations, Martinez's evidence exposing corruption at unprecedented levels. Ranger's training adapts to each new requirement as the operation expands. The German Shepherd maintains security while ensuring proper evidence handling, his military background proving crucial to the investigation's integrity. Morning sun illuminates. Dust clouds as multiple agencies coordinate Reyes's pursuit. Ranger's ears track incoming tactical updates, his military training processing each new development. Through secured channels, they monitor the unfolding chase across Arizona's border region. Reyes's vehicle spotted heading south on Route 92, Ortiz announces, coordinating with pursuit teams. He's moving toward a private airstrip near the Mexican border. Elena studies tactical displays as federal teams converge. Classic federal, escape protocol. He'll have a prepared extraction plan, probably involving specialized aircraft. Ranger suddenly alerts to new information coming through their secure feeds. The German Shepherd moves to a specific monitoring station, his training recognizing critical patterns. Look at his response, Elena observes. Miguel taught him to identify priority intelligence. He knows Reyes is trying to reach specific coordinates. Sophia reviews her father's final notes as updates flow in. Dad mapped every possible escape route. He knew exactly how they'd try running once exposed. Through their tactical network, they hear increasing urgency. Target vehicle approaching Sierra Vista airfield. Multiple contacts reported on ground. Possible extraction team. Ranger's posture shifts as he processes the information, his combat experience analyzing threat patterns. The dog moves to another monitoring station, activating specific tracking protocols. Miguel programmed Ranger to recognize escape signatures. Elena explains as new data appears. Every federal extraction protocol, every emergency procedure, the dog knows how to counter them, but Miguel Martinez's planning extends even here. Ranger coordinates with federal teams, his training providing crucial intelligence about escape protocols. Look at these patterns, Elena says, watching Ranger work. Miguel taught him to predict extraction attempts based on federal training. Procedures. Sophia understands more of her father's strategy. That's why he spent so much time teaching the Ranger about aircraft and flight patterns. He knew they'd try using classified transportation. Through secure channels, they monitor Reyes's desperate flight. Target approaching a private airstrip. 2 unmarked aircraft on runway signatures match known government ghost flights. Ranger's training kicks in as he activates specialized tracking systems. The dog's military experience proves invaluable as he helps federal teams identify escape. Vehicles, multiple agencies coordinating intercept, Ortiz updates them. FBI, Border Patrol, Air Force, they're all moving to contain the airfield. Elena watches Ranger guide pursuit teams through tactical displays. Your father knew they'd follow established escape procedures. Everything they're doing now, he prepared a Ranger to counter. Reyes's voice carries panic through intercepted. Communications. Where's my extraction? I was promised an emergency evacuation. Sir, international authorities have frozen all black accounts, comes the response. Known escape routes are compromised. Martinez's evidence exposed everything. Ranger suddenly alerts to new movement patterns. Multiple vehicles converging on the airfield. But his training identifies them as friendly forces. FBI tactical teams moving to intercept Miguel Martinez's final trap. Elena explains as they watch federal teams coordinate. He knew exactly how they'd try running. Every escape plan, every extraction protocol leads them straight to waiting authorities. Through facility feeds, they monitor the operation reaching its climax. Rangers' military training helps coordinate multiple agencies as they surround the airfield. Target vehicle entering airstrip perimeter, comes an urgent update. 2 subjects attempting to board aircraft. Tactical teams moving to intercept. Rangers' ears track the unfolding situation as his training processes each development. The German Shepherd moves between monitoring stations, ensuring no detail escapes notice. Your father's planning was perfect, Elena tells Sophia as they watch events unfold. He knew exactly what resources they'd try using, exactly how they'd attempt to escape. Ortiz receives confirmation, both aircraft secured. Reyes and Vega in custody, international teams reporting similar captures worldwide. Through secure channels, they hear the conspiracy's final collapse. Multiple high-level arrests in progress. Corrupt federal agents, military contractors, compromised officials, all being taken into custody. Ranger maintains his vigilant watch as reports flow in. His training allows him to process and prioritize intelligence while maintaining facility security. It's not just about catching them anymore, Elena explains, watching Ranger work. Your father created a perfect operation to expose and dismantle their entire network. Sophia studies tactical displays as more arrests are confirmed. Dad knew they'd all try running once exposed. That's why he trained a Ranger to understand their procedures. Through monitored channels, they hear increasing chaos as escape plans fail worldwide. All known extraction routes compromised, emergency protocols ineffective. Martinez's evidence has exposed everything. Ranger's military training proves crucial as he helps coordinate international response. The German Shepherd processes incoming data, his experience helping authorities track remaining suspects. Miguel Martinez's masterstroke, Ortiz observes, watching Ranger work. He didn't just gather evidence, he created a perfect operation to prevent their escape. Dawn fully illuminates Arizona's border region as federal teams secure multiple arrests. Ranger maintains his focused vigilance, understanding that his mission continues until every conspirator is in custody. Your father would be proud, Elena tells Sophia as they monitor incoming reports. Everything he taught Ranger, every protocol he established, helped ensure justice would be served. The morning sun reveals a changed world as international authorities dismantle a massive conspiracy. But at the center of it all, a highly trained military dog continues his sworn duty, helping ensure that those responsible face justice while protecting the family entrusted to his care. Midday sunbathes Safe House Charlie in harsh lighters. Federal teams process evidence and arrests. Ranger maintains his protective watch, but his posture has shifted slightly, military training adapting to the changing situation. Through facility monitors, they watch worldwide coverage of the unfolding story. Over 300 arrests across 27 countries, Ortiz reports, reviewing the latest updates. Federal agents, military contractors, corrupt officials. Miguel Martinez's evidence is bringing down entire networks. Elena studies incoming. Reports as Ranger guides evidence teams through secure areas. Your father didn't just expose one conspiracy, he revealed an entire shadow world of corruption hidden within legitimate agencies. Sophia opens a new file her father left, marked for after. Ranger immediately moves to her side. His training, recognizing significant moments. The German Shepherd settles beside her, combat vigilance balanced with gentle support. My dearest Sophia, she reads, tears threatening. If you're reading this, then Ranger has completed his most important mission. Everything I trained him for, every protocol I established, was to ensure justice would be served while keeping you safe. Through secure channels, updates continue flowing. Multiple governments initiating emergency sessions. Martinez's evidence exposing corruption at unprecedented levels. Your father spent his final months preparing for this, Eleanor explains, as Ranger monitors facility security. He knew exposing the truth would shake foundations worldwide. Ortiz receives urgent updates. International prosecutors building cases. Martinez's documentation creates airtight evidence chains. No one's escaping justice this time. Rangers' ears track approaching vehicles, more federal teams arriving with specialized equipment. But his training now focuses on comfort as much as security, staying close to Sophia as she reads her father's words. I knew the risks, Miguel's letter continues. Knew they might silence me before I could expose everything. But I also knew Ranger would protect you, guide you through what had to be done. His training, his loyalty, ensures the truth would come out while keeping you safe. Elena watches Ranger comfort Sophia while maintaining security awareness. Your father chose him specifically for this mission, a dog with both the combat skills to protect and the heart to heal. Through facility feeds, they monitor worldwide developments. Multiple agencies recovering hidden assets, criminal networks, being dismantled across continents. Martinez's evidence reached deeper than anyone imagined. The hardest part, Sophia reads from her father's letter, was knowing I might not be there to see this through, but Ranger would be there, carrying out his training while being the guardian you needed. Ranger's posture shifts slightly as he processes Sophia's emotions, his military experience balanced with protective instincts. The dog provides comfort while maintaining tactical awareness. It's not just about the evidence anymore, Elena observes, watching them together. Your father made sure Ranger would be both protector and companion through all of this. Ortiz reviews incoming data. Interpol confirming massive asset seizures. Criminal enterprises worth billions being frozen. Martinez's intelligence changed. The global landscape. Through secure channels, they hear the impact spreading. Multiple governments launching internal investigations, corruption exposure forcing worldwide reforms. Sophia continues reading her father's final words. Ranger's training goes beyond combat and protection. I taught him to understand emotions, to recognize when strength means standing guard and when it means offering comfort. Elena nods, watching. Ranger adjusts his position to better support Sophia. Your father knew exposing the truth would be difficult. He made sure you'd have the guardian you needed through it all. Through facility monitors, news coverage shows the story expanding. International authorities praised unprecedented cooperation. Martinez's evidence creating worldwide impact. The hardest lesson, Sophia reads, tears falling freely now, was teaching Ranger to balance his military training with emotional support. But he learned, just as you taught him to trust again after losing me. Ranger responds to her tears with gentle comfort, his combat vigilance never wavering but softened by protective love. The German Shepherd demonstrates perfectly what Miguel described, balancing warrior and guardian. Your father's greatest achievement, Elena says softly, watching them together. Not just exposing corruption, but ensuring you'd have someone to help you through the aftermath. Ortiz receives more updates. Multiple agencies praising Martinez's foresight. His evidence not only exposes crimes, but prevents cover-ups. No one escapes accountability. Through secure feeds, they monitor global reactions. Unprecedented reforms being implemented worldwide. Martinez's evidence forcing systematic changes. Sophia reaches the letter's end. Remember, mi amor, that every protocol I taught Ranger, every mission I prepared him for, had one ultimate purpose, and be protecting you while ensuring justice would be served. He's more than a trained military dog now. He's your guardian, your protector, your friend. Trust him as I did. Love him as he loves you, and know that through him I'll always be watching over you. Ranger maintains his protective position as Sophia processes her father's words. The German Shepherd demonstrates everything Miguel described. Military precision balanced with gentle support, combat readiness softened by devoted love. Your father's true legacy, Elena observes quietly, watching them together, not just exposing corruption, but ensuring his daughter would have the guardian she needed to face whatever came next. Late afternoon light filters through Safe House, Charlie's windows, as Rosa Martinez finally arrives from the panic room. Ranger's posture immediately shifts upon recognizing her, the German Shepherd moving to secure her path while maintaining his protective position near Sophia. His military training seamlessly adapts to the family's reunification. Abuela, Sophia runs to embrace her grandmother, Ranger following with practiced precision. The dog's movements reflect his updated priorities, protecting both family members while monitoring the ongoing federal presence. Everything your father put in place, Rosa says, holding Sophia tight. Every detail he planned, every contingency he prepared for. He made sure we'd be safe while the truth came out. Elena watches Ranger coordinate with arriving federal teams, his training now focused on family security. Miguel knew this day would be hard. That's why he made sure Ranger could handle both the operation and the aftermath. Through facility monitors, they watch worldwide coverage expanding. International media reporting unprecedented scope of corruption exposure. Martinez evidence revolutionizing global law enforcement. Your father's final mission changed everything, Ortiz explains, reviewing the latest updates. Not just exposing corruption, but forcing systematic reforms worldwide. Ranger's ears track movement as more federal teams arrive, but his primary focus remains on his family. The German Shepherd maintains tactical awareness while providing emotional support. He's different now, Sophia observes, watching Ranger work. Still protective, still vigilant, but softer somehow, like he knows the main battle is over. That's his advanced training, Elena explains, as Ranger guides them through secure areas. Your father taught him to recognize different phases of an operation. Now he's transitioning to long-term family protection. Through secure channels, they hear ongoing developments. Multiple agencies implementing new oversight protocols. Martinez's evidence forcing worldwide accountability measures. Rosa opens another letter from Miguel, this one marked, "For After Victory." Ranger settles between her and Sophia as she reads, "Maintaining security while offering comfort. My dear family," she begins, voice thick with emotion. "If you're reading this, then Ranger has succeeded beyond my highest hopes. The truth is exposed, justice is being served, and most importantly, you're safe." Through facility feeds, they monitor international response. Governments worldwide praising Martinez's intelligence network. Evidence exposure creating unprecedented reforms. Ortiz receives new updates. Protection details being arranged for key witnesses. Martinez family to receive full federal security pending final prosecutions. Ranger's training adapts to each development. His military experience now focused on family stability. The German Shepherd demonstrates everything Miguel intended: protector, guardian, emotional support. The hardest part, Rosa reads from Miguel's letter, was knowing I couldn't be there to help you through this, but I made sure Ranger would be. His training goes beyond combat and protection. He knows how to help heal broken hearts. Sophia watches Ranger maintain his vigil while offering gentle comfort. Dad knew exactly what we'd need, didn't he? Not just a protector, but a family. That was Miguel's true genius, Elena explains, as the federal team processes evidence. He created a guardian who could handle both the crisis and its aftermath. Through secure channels, they monitor ongoing operations. Multiple agencies coordinating witness protection, Martinez family security paramount, pending international trials. Ranger's ears track activity outside, but his body language shows increasing relaxation. The German Shepherd maintains professional vigilance while allowing his loving nature to show more clearly. Your father prepared for everything, Rosa continues reading. The evidence exposure, the worldwide impact, the need for healing afterward. Ranger's training covers it all, from tactical operations to emotional support. Elena watches the dog comfort both mother and daughter while monitoring security. Miguel knew exposing the truth would be traumatic. He made sure you'd have this guardian you needed to face it together. Through facility feeds, news coverage continues. Martinez evidence changing global security landscape, corruption exposure, forcing institutional reforms worldwide. The next phase will be challenging. Miguel's letter acknowledges media attention, ongoing investigations, testimony requirements. But Ranger's training includes managing all of this. Trust him. Let him help you heal. Ranger demonstrates this perfectly, maintaining security protocols while providing increasing emotional support. His military precision now balances with gentle affection, showing both sides of his training. This was always the true mission, Eleanor explained softly, watching the family together. Not just exposing corruption, but ensuring you'd have the strength and support to build something new afterward. The late afternoon sun casts warm light across Safe House Charlie as federal teams continue their work. But in a quiet corner, a family begins healing under the watchful protection of a guardian who proves that sometimes the strongest warriors have the gentlest hearts. Through secure feeds, they watch security preparations begin. Safe house locations being established. Multiple layers of protection planned for the Martinez family. This is what Miguel wanted, Elena explains, as Ranger manages another security transition. A guardian who could protect you from both physical threats and public pressure. The evening deepens as federal teams finalize protection protocols, but through all the changes, Ranger maintains his crucial role, ensuring his family can begin healing while staying safe from whatever challenges lie ahead. News coverage continues worldwide as the sun sets. Military dogs training revolutionizes witness protection, Ortiz reads from a report. K9 Hero provides an unprecedented security model. Your father's legacy grows, he observes, watching Ranger work, not just exposing corruption, but creating new standards for family protection. Ranger demonstrates these standards perfectly, maintaining security while helping his family adjust. The German Shepherd proved that sometimes the best protection comes with a gentle heart and unwavering loyalty. As night falls over Mesa Verde, Sophia snuggles close to her grandmother, Ranger maintaining his protective watch. In his final letter, Miguel Martinez had written that some battles are fought with weapons, while others are won with love. Today, thanks to a father's foresight and a dog's devotion, both kinds of victory had been achieved. Nightfall brings new threats to Safe House. Charlie as Reyes mobilizes his remaining forces. Ranger's ears track multiple teams converging through the darkness, his military training identifying each distinct threat pattern. Three teams approaching from the north, Elena warns, monitoring tactical feeds. Professional formation, using thermal imaging. These aren't cartel soldiers anymore, they're federal strike teams. Sophia watches Ranger shift into an advanced combat stance, his movements reflecting years of specialized training. The German Shepherd's body language tells her everything she needs to know. The real battle is about to begin. Command. Initiating. Protocol Sigma! A voice crackles through their stolen radio. Authorization for maximum force approved. That's a Black Ops elimination order, Elena translates grimly. They're done pretending. Now they're using classified federal tactics. Ranger responds instantly, activating pre-positioned countermeasures. Throughout the facility, his military training kicks into highest gear as he coordinates their defense. Through security feeds, they watch thermal signatures approaching the building's perimeter. Each team moves with lethal precision, using tactics only taught to elite federal units. Your father knew this would happen, Elena explains, as Ranger guides them to hardened positions. The more desperate they get, the more they expose their true capabilities. Ortiz's voice comes through secure channels. FBI tactical teams 10 minutes out. Hold position. We're seeing multiple agencies involved in the assault. Rosa grips Miguel's service weapon tighter. They're bringing everything they have. Good, Elena says, watching Ranger work. That's exactly what Miguel wanted. Every piece of classified equipment, every restricted tactic proves who they really are. Ranger suddenly freezes, his ears catching something only he can hear. Seconds later, they detect the faint whop-whop of stealth helicopters approaching. Federal gunships, Elena identifies. Those aren't supposed to exist, let alone be used on U.S. soil. More evidence of who we're really dealing with. Through their tactical network, Reyes's frustration becomes evident. I don't care about exposure anymore. Level the building. No evidence survives. But Ranger's training prepared for even this. The German Shepherd moves between defensive positions, activating systems that document every aspect of the assault. Each piece of classified equipment, each restricted protocol, is recorded and transmitted to multiple federal agencies. Sir, the target facility has military-grade countermeasures, an operator reports. They're recording everything, our equipment, our tactics, our communications. Martinez's final trap, Reyes realizes too late. The dog isn't just defending them, it's forcing us to expose ourselves. Ranger guides Sophia and Rosa deeper into the facility as the first assault teams breach the outer perimeter. His combat training shows in every movement as he coordinates their defense. Look at his tactical responses, Elena observes. Miguel trained him to recognize and counter specific federal units. Every move they make, he's ready for. Through facility cameras, they watch Ranger's strategy unfold. The German Shepherd anticipates each breach point, triggering countermeasures that force the attackers to reveal more of their classified capabilities. Command, they've got anti-thermal defenses, signal jammers, the works, an operator reports. This is a professional setup. Of course it is, Reyes snarls. Martinez spent months preparing. The dog knows all our protocols. Ranger suddenly alerts to new movement. Teams rappelling from the stealth helicopters, but even this was anticipated. The German Shepherd activates specialized countermeasures, forcing the aircraft to expose their classified signatures. Your father knew they'd have to commit everything they had, Elena explains, as Ranger coordinates their defense. Each response reveals more about who they really are. The facility's inner sanctum provides temporary respite as Ranger secures their position. Deep within Safe House, Charlie's reinforced core, Sophia watches the German Shepherd methodically. Check each entrance, his military training never wavering despite hours of continuous combat. 10 minutes until they regroup, Elena estimates, monitoring tactical feeds. They lost too much classified equipment in the last assault. They'll need time to recalibrate. Through security cameras, they watch federal teams falling back, leaving behind scattered pieces of restricted hardware, each item now documented and transmitted as evidence. Command requiring equipment reset, an operator reports. Multiple prototype systems were compromised. Target facilities' defenses exceeded expectations. Ranger's ears track their withdrawal, but his posture remains combat-ready. The dog moves between defensive positions, checking systems while maintaining protective coverage of his family. Your father designed this room for exactly this scenario, Elena explains, gesturing to the reinforced walls. A place to regroup while they expose more of their capabilities. Sophia studies the tactical displays showing multiple teams regrouping. Outside, they're changing formation, using different protocols now. Federal containment patterns, Elena confirms. More evidence of who they really are. Every new tactic they try proves more of your father's case. Ranger suddenly alerts to movement in the ventilation system, his training detecting an infiltration attempt before it begins. The German Shepherd moves to a specific panel, triggering countermeasures. Breach Team 7, fall back, crackles, their tactical radio. Target has anti-infiltration systems in the ventilation network. Of course they do, Reyes snarls. Martinez thought of everything. The dog knows all our procedures. Through secure channels, they hear Ortiz coordinating the FBI response. All units hold position. We're documenting multiple federal tactical protocols. Everything matches Martinez's evidence. Rosa checks Miguel's service weapon while watching. Ranger work. How many more attacks can we handle? As many as necessary, Elena answers, studying facility defenses. Your son made sure of that. Every assault exposes more of their federal connections. Ranger's ears suddenly prick forward, detecting new frequencies. Through reinforced walls, they hear communication systems shifting to classified channels. Command implementing Protocol Omega, an operator announces. Switching to restricted federal frequencies. More proof, Elena notes grimly. Those channels are only available to government teams. But Rangers training prepared for this too. The German Shepherd moves to a monitoring station, activating systems that record and analyze the classified communications. Sir, they're intercepting our secure frequencies, Vega reports urgently. Martinez equipped them with federal-grade monitoring systems. He knew all our protocols, Reyes realizes. Every contingency we try exposes more of our operation. Through facility feeds, they watch federal teams regrouping, deploying even more classified equipment. Each new piece of hardware provides additional evidence of government involvement. Look at what they're bringing in now, Elena observes. Prototype breaching systems, experimental electronics, all restricted to federal units. Sophia watches Ranger process each new threat. The dog's training identifying specific pieces of classified technology. Dad made sure he could recognize everything they might use and counter it, Elena confirms. Your father spent months teaching the Ranger to identify and respond to their most advanced equipment. The facility's inner defenses provide critical intel as federal teams reposition outside. Each movement, each piece of equipment deployed adds to the growing evidence of government corruption. Multiple strike teams establishing new positions. Elena reports, studying tactical feeds. They're bringing in even more classified hardware. Ranger moves with heightened alertness, his training detecting new threat signatures. The German Shepherd's ears track specific frequencies, each one restricted to federal operators. Command, deploying prototype sonic arrays, crackles there. Tactical radio, authorization for classified frequency bands confirmed. Through security cameras, they watch teams setting up experimental equipment, technology that officially doesn't exist. But Ranger recognizes each device, his training prepared for even these advanced threats. Your father made sure he could. Identify every piece of restricted hardware, Elena explains as Ranger triggers specific countermeasures. Each response proves these are federal assets. Sophia watches the tactical displays showing multiple breach points being prepared. They're trying everything now. Desperate men make mistakes, Elena notes grimly. Look at what they're revealing. Classified weapons, restricted protocols, federal authentication codes, all documented and transmitted. Ranger suddenly freezes, his combat instincts detecting a new pattern. Through reinforced walls, they hear the distinctive hum of experimental cutting equipment. That's next-gen federal tech, Elena identifies. Prototype systems that aren't supposed to exist. More proof of who we're dealing with. The German Shepherd responds instantly, activating countermeasures designed specifically for these advanced weapons. His training anticipated even their most secret hardware. Sir, the target facility has defenses against our prototype systems, an operator reports, with growing frustration. Everything we deploy gets recorded and analyzed. Martinez knew our entire arsenal, Reyes realizes. The dog recognizes equipment that isn't even officially acknowledged. Through secure channels, they hear the impact spreading. Multiple agencies confirming unauthorized use of restricted federal assets, classification breaches at highest levels. Rosa watches Ranger coordinate facility defenses, understanding more of her son's planning. Miguel knew they'd resort to their most secret weapons and expose themselves in the process, Elena confirms. Every piece of classified equipment proves federal involvement in the conspiracy. Ranger's ears suddenly track new movement, teams repositioning with specialized gear. But even these advanced tactics were anticipated in his training. Command, implementing Protocol Omega, an operator announces, deploying a full spectrum of restricted hardware. They're going all in, Elena translates grimly, using their complete classified arsenal. Exactly what your father wanted. Through facility cameras, they watch federal teams deploy increasingly advanced technology. Each new system, each restricted device, adds to the mountain of evidence being gathered. Sir, unable to breach target defenses, Vega reports urgently. They've got counters for everything, even our prototype equipment. Of course they do, Reyes snarls. Martinez trained that dog to recognize our entire classified inventory. We're documenting our own illegal operations. Ranger maintains his protective stance as he coordinates multiple defense systems. His training transforms each new threat into evidence, each classified weapon into proof of federal corruption. Full spectrum analysis confirms multiple restricted signatures. An FBI technician reports through secure channels. These systems are exclusively available to federal strike teams. Sophia understands now, watching Ranger work. Dad didn't just teach him to defend against their weapons, he taught him to expose them. Miguel's masterpiece. Elena agrees softly. A guardian who could protect his family while revealing the truth about federal corruption. Through their tactical network, they hear Reyes's growing desperation. I don't care about classification anymore. Deploy everything. Authorization. Final eclipse. Their most restricted protocol, Elena identifies. The one that proves federal involvement beyond any doubt. But Ranger was prepared even for this. The German Shepherd moves with practiced efficiency, his training anticipating their most desperate measures. Each countermeasure, each defensive system records and transmits proof of the government's illegal operations. The evidence is overwhelming now, Ortiz confirms through secure channels. Classified weapons, restricted protocols, federal authorization codes, they've exposed their entire shadow operation. The assault intensifies as federal teams deploy their complete classified arsenal. But at the heart of the facility's defenses, a highly trained military dog continues his vital mission, not just protecting his family, but exposing the truth about federal corruption, one classified weapon at a time. Rosa checks the ammunition in Miguel's service weapon while Ranger maintains his vigilant watch. "How much longer can we hold out?" "Long enough," Elena answers, studying the tactical displays. "Each minute gives us more evidence. Look at what they're bringing in now." Through security feeds, they watch teams deploying advanced electronic warfare equipment, technology that supposedly doesn't exist outside classified federal programs. "Command initializing quantum disruption arrays," an operator reports. "Implementing full-spectrum electronic warfare protocols." Ranger's ears track the new frequencies, his training recognizing even these experimental systems. The German Shepherd moves to specific defensive positions, activating countermeasures designed for the most advanced federal technology. "Your father prepared for everything," Elena explains, as Ranger coordinates the facility's response. "Even their black projects that officially don't exist." Sophia watches her guardian work, understanding more of her father's planning. He didn't just teach the Ranger to fight, he taught him to expose them. Through their tactical network, they hear growing frustration in Reyes's voice. "How does that dog know about systems that aren't even acknowledged? Martinez shouldn't have had access to this intel." "He had help," Elena reveals quietly. "Before I retired from military intelligence, I made sure Miguel knew everything about their classified programs. That's why the Ranger recognizes it all." The German Shepherd suddenly alerts to new movement patterns, his training detecting another infiltration attempt. But this one's different, more sophisticated. "Command deploying stealth insertion teams," crackles their radio, "using experimental cloaking systems." "That's bleeding-edge federal tech," Elena identifies. "Prototype stealth suits that cost millions each. More proof these aren't cartel soldiers." But Ranger's training prepared for even this. The German Shepherd moves with deadly precision, activating specialized sensors that detect and track the invisible operators. "Sir, they've got countermeasures for our stealth systems," an operator reports with disbelief. "They're tracking our ghost teams." Martinez knew everything, Reyes realizes. Every black project, every classified system. That dog's been trained to handle technology that doesn't officially exist. Through secure channels, they hear the impact spreading. Multiple agencies accessing the data, confirming unauthorized deployment of restricted federal assets. "The evidence is comprehensive now," Ortiz updates them. "They've exposed their entire classified arsenal, trying to breach your defenses." Rosa watches her son's dog work, pride mixing with determination. "Miguel made sure we'd have everything we needed to expose them. And protect you while doing it," Elena adds, observing Ranger's flawless execution of his training. "Your son created the perfect guardian, one who could defend his family while revealing the truth." The German Shepherd suddenly stiffens, his combat instincts detecting a new threat pattern. Through reinforced walls, they hear the distinctive hum of quantum tunneling equipment. "They're bringing in their doomsday weapons now," Elena warns. "Technology so classified, its very existence is denied. But Ranger knows them all." Sophia understands now why her father spent so many months training his dog. He's not just our protector, he's the key to exposing everything. Through facility cameras, they watch federal teams deploy their most advanced hardware. Each piece of classified technology, each restricted system, adds to the growing evidence of government corruption. "The next assault will be their strongest yet," Elena predicts, studying tactical feeds. "But that's exactly what your father planned for. The more desperate they get, the more they reveal." Ranger maintains his protective stance, ready for whatever comes next. His training has prepared him for their most classified weapons, their most advanced technology. Each attack will only prove more of what Miguel Martinez discovered about federal corruption. The night deepens as they prepare for the next wave. But in this temporary haven, surrounded by the best defenses his handler could devise, a highly trained military dog stands ready. not just to protect his family, but to expose the full truth about who's really trying to harm them. Midnight approaches Safe House Charlie as Ranger detects a shift in enemy tactics. His ears track new movement patterns, different from the previous assaults. Through security feeds, they watch federal teams implementing more sophisticated attack protocols. They're adapting, Elena observes, studying tactical displays. Look, at those formations, they're switching to ghost team configurations. Sophia watches Ranger's response, noting how his posture changes to match the new threat. The German Shepherd's training recognizes these advanced tactics, his movements becoming more precise. Command implementing shadow protocol. Crackles there. Tactical radio. All teams switch to Spectrum 7 frequencies. And that's their stealth assault configuration, Elena translates. Used only by elite federal units. More proof of who we're really dealing with. Ranger moves with increased urgency, activating countermeasures specifically designed for these sophisticated attacks. His training anticipated even these classified protocols. Sir, target facility is tracking our ghost teams, an operator reports with disbelief. They've got counters for our stealth systems. Through secure channels, they hear Ortiz coordinating the FBI response. Multiple agencies confirming use of restricted federal tactics. Everything matches Martinez's intelligence. Ranger suddenly freezes, his combat instincts detecting a new pattern. The distinctive hum of quantum scanning equipment fills the air, technology that officially doesn't exist. They're bringing in their black projects now, Elena warns. Equipment so classified its very existence is denied. But your father made sure Ranger would recognize it all. The German Shepherd moves with lethal precision, triggering specialized defenses that not only counter these advanced weapons, but document their illegal deployment. Command target has quantum countermeasures, Vega reports frantically. They're recording our prototype systems. Martinez knew everything, Reyes realizes. Every secret project, every classified protocol. The dog's been trained to handle technology that doesn't officially exist. Through facility cameras, they watch federal teams deploying increasingly sophisticated equipment. Each new system, each restricted device, adds to the mountain of evidence being gathered. Your father's masterpiece, Elena tells Sophia as Ranger, coordinates another defensive sequence. He knew they'd eventually resort to their most advanced technology. Now they're proving everything he discovered about federal corruption. Ranger's ears suddenly track new frequencies. His training detecting another shift in enemy tactics. The sound of stealth helicopters approaches, but these are different from before. Command deploying Wraith units, an operator announces. Authorization for Phantom protocols confirmed. Their most elite teams, Elena identifies, operators trained in classified federal tactics. This proves everything. But Ranger was ready even for this. The German Shepherd moves with practiced efficiency, his training anticipating their most sophisticated measures. Each countermeasure, each defensive system records and transmits proof of the government's illegal operations. 6 months after the siege of Safe House Charlie, autumn sunlight warms the Martinez family's new home in a peaceful Montana valley. Ranger patrols the property's perimeter, his military training now focused on a different kind of protection. The German Shepherd moves with the same precision, but there's contentment in his stride as he guards his family's fresh start. International. Courts have finished the last cases, Ortiz reports during his final visit. Every conspirator Miguel identified has been brought to justice. His evidence changed everything. Elena watches Ranger guide Sophia through their morning routine, the dog's protective instincts perfectly balanced with gentle affection. Your father created something remarkable, not just exposing corruption, but ensuring you'd have the strength to build something new. Through their secured channels, they monitor the lasting impact. Martinez evidence reforms reshaping law enforcement worldwide, military K9 protocols revolutionizing witness protection. Dad would love it here, Sophia says, watching Ranger inspect their new greenhouse. All this space for him to run, mountains to explore, peace to heal. Rosa discovers one final letter from Miguel, marked simply, "For the future." Ranger settles between them as she reads, maintaining his protective watch while offering comfort. "My dear family," Miguel's words flow. "If you're reading this, then everything we fought for has been achieved. The truth exposed, justice served, a new life beginning." But Ranger's mission continues, not just as protector, but as your partner in building something beautiful from all we've endured. Through quiet afternoon hours, they watch Ranger adapt to their new routines. His military training now serves gentler purposes, securing garden boundaries, checking hiking trails, watching over family picnics. "Look at him," Sophia observes as Ranger guides them along mountain paths. Still vigilant, still protective, but so content, like he knows we're exactly where we should be. Elena nods, preparing for her own departure. "That's what your father wanted, a guardian who could help you find peace after the storms passed." Through their property security feeds, they monitor simpler concerns now. Local wildlife movements, weather patterns, seasonal changes. Rangers' training adapts perfectly to their quieter life. The world's forever changed, Ortiz reflects, reviewing final reports. Miguel Martinez's legacy reaches far beyond exposed corruption. He showed us the true meaning of protection. Ranger demonstrates this as he plays with Sophia in Autumn Leaves, his combat skills transformed into joyful agility. The German Shepherd proves that warriors can find peace without losing their strength. "Your father's last gift," Elena explains, watching them together. "Not just justice served, but a future filled with possibility." Through international channels, they see lasting effects. Martinez Protocol is now standard in global law enforcement, military K9 training revolutionizing witness protection. "It's more than that," Sophia says, scratching Ranger's ears. "Dad gave us a guardian who could help us heal, help us trust again." Rosa reads Miguel's final words. "Remember that Ranger's greatest strength isn't his military training or protective skills. It's his capacity for love, his dedication to family, his ability to help heal broken hearts while keeping them safe." Ranger maintains his watch as mountain sunset paints their valley gold. His training adapts to each new day, securing happiness, protecting peace, guarding love's slow healing. "Your father would be proud," Elena says in farewell. "Not just of the corruption exposed, but of the beautiful life you're building from it." Through their property's cameras, they watch daily miracles, flowers blooming, seasons changing, family bonds strengthening. Ranger's presence ensures every moment stays secure. This is what Dad wanted most, Sophia realizes, watching Ranger patrol their garden. Not just justice or protection, but a chance for real happiness. The German Shepherd confirms this, moving between guard duties and gentle play. His military precision now protects simpler treasures, family dinners, quiet evenings, shared laughter. Ranger's true legacy, Ortiz observes during his final inspection, isn't just in changed laws or exposed corruption. It's in proving that protection comes in many forms. As stars emerge over Montana mountains, Ranger maintains his eternal vigil. His training, loyalty, and love combine to guard something precious. A family healing, finding joy, building new dreams. "Your father gave the world justice," Elena tells them before leaving, "but he gave you something far more valuable, a guardian who could help you find peace." The night deepens as Ranger settles into his watch, content in his ongoing mission. Some soldiers never truly retire. They just find more beautiful things to protect, more precious moments to guard, more love to keep safe. And in the quiet of their mountain valley, under stars that shine like promise, a highly trained military dog continues his most important duty, protecting the family that helped expose truth while they build something beautiful from justice served. Sophia watches Ranger complete his evening perimeter check. His movements, fluid but relaxed. The German Shepherd pauses at specific points, military training merging seamlessly with domestic routine. He still does 4 laps, she tells Rosa, smiling. But now he stops to smell the roses I planted. Through their property's security system, maintained more from habit than necessity, they watch Ranger adapt his combat skills to gentler purposes. Each tactical pattern now serves to enrich rather than just protect. Your father would love seeing this, Rosa says softly. His warrior finding peace without losing his strength. Elena's farewell gift sits on their mantle, a photograph of Miguel and Ranger in full tactical gear, contrasting sharply with today's reality of the dog playing among autumn leaves. He's still the same soldier, Sophia observes, watching Ranger pause to investigate a rabbit trail. But now he fights for joy instead of justice. The German Shepherd's ears prick toward distant coyotes, his posture shifting briefly to combat ready before relaxing again. Some instincts never fade. They just find new purpose. That's your father's true victory, Rosa tells Sophia as they prepare dinner. Not just exposing corruption, but ensuring his guardian could help us build a life filled with love. Ranger settles into his evening position, alert but content. His training transformed into something beautiful, protecting not just his family's safety, but their happiness, their healing, their hope. Through the mountain night, his watch continues. Some battles are fought with weapons, while others are won with love. Thanks to a father's foresight and a dog's devotion, the Martinez family achieved both kinds of victory. Through their evening routine, Ranger demonstrates how thoroughly his training has adapted. Each tactical pattern now enhances family life. Rather than just preserving it, he checks the windows differently now, Sophia notes, watching him move through the house. Less like searching for threats, more like saying goodnight to each room. The German Shepherd pauses at the kitchen window, where bird feeders Elena helped them install to attract mountain chickadees and nuthatches. His military-grade threat assessment now catalogues simple joys. The FBI's closing their final files this week, Ortiz tells them during his last check-in. Your father's evidence led to over 400 convictions worldwide. Corrupt agents, compromised officials, cartel, leaders, all facing justice. But Ranger's focus remains on his family's contentment. His combat-honed senses now track softer sounds. Rosa humming in the kitchen, Sophia's pencil scratching homework, wind chimes Miguel once made tinkling on the porch. Look how he positions himself, Elena observes before leaving. Still maintaining tactical coverage of all approaches, but now it's so he can watch Sophia garden or see Rosa baking. Protection through presence, not just vigilance. Through property cameras, maintained now more for memories than security, they watch Ranger adapt years of military training to peace. Each patrol becomes a chance to check the wildflower meadow Sophia planted, inspect Rosa's herb garden, and monitor the family of deer that visits at dusk. He still uses his combat signals, Sophia tells Rosa, amused. But now one short bark means the hummingbirds are back. 2 long means he's found fresh raspberries. The German Shepherd's evening routine remains precise, but serves new purposes. Each checkpoint offers different treasures. The sunset painting mountains gold, owls beginning their nightly chorus, bats emerging to dance against purple sky. Your father would love seeing his warrior like this, Elena says during her farewell, finding ways to use everything he learned in combat to build something beautiful instead. Through seasonal changes, they watch Ranger adapt his skills. Winter. brings tactical snow patrols transformed into playful romps. Spring sees combat tracking applied to finding the first wildflowers. Summer nights find him maintaining alert watch over family campfires, more concerned with marshmallow thieves than hostile forces. He's still the same soldier, Sophia observes, as Ranger investigates mysterious rabbit tracks. But now he fights for our happiness instead of just our safety. The German Shepherd's incredible training finds new expression in civilian life. His ability to detect minute changes in the environment now helps him know when Sophia needs comfort or Rosa could use company. His tactical positioning ensures he's always close enough to offer a gentle head bump or warm presence. That's your father's true gift, Rosa tells Sophia as they watch Ranger escort a family of raccoons safely off the property. No combat required. Not just giving us a protector, but a guardian who could help us build a life full of joy. As night settles, over their mountain valley, Ranger completes one final perimeter check. His movements remain precise, but hold a new purpose, not just securing against threats, but ensuring his family rests easy, wrapped in the peace they fought so hard to win. Some battles are won with weapons, Elena had told them, but the most important victories are built day by day, with love and patience and the courage to trust again. Through the property's cameras, they capture everyday miracles. Ranger using his tracking skills to help Sophia find lost car keys. His tactical training repurposed to retrieve Rosa's hat when wind carries it away. Combat signals transformed into a private language of love and family understanding. Dad would be so proud, Sophia whispers, watching Ranger settle into his evenings. Watch position, not just of exposing corruption, but of how his warrior learned to protect joy as fiercely as he once guarded against danger. Under Montana's star-filled sky, Ranger maintains his vigil. His incredible training, once used to defend against humanity's darkest impulses, now serves to nurture its brightest hopes. Every skill honed in combat finds new purpose in peace. Through the mountain night, his watch continues. Some soldiers never truly retire. They just learn to fight different battles. And thanks to a father's wisdom and a dog's devotion, this highly trained warrior now guards his most precious mission yet, helping his family build something beautiful from the ashes of justice served. The seasons turn and life moves forward. But every day, in countless small moments, Ranger demonstrates the truth Miguel Martinez knew, that sometimes the strongest protection comes not from weapons or walls, but from a guardian whose combat-hardened heart learned to cherish peace, while remaining forever ready to defend it. And in their quiet mountain valley, under stars that shine like promise, a highly trained military dog continues his eternal mission, not just protecting his family's safety, but nurturing their joy, guarding their healing, and ensuring that the peace they fought so hard to win grows stronger with each passing day. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hits the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.